I invest in utility cryptos. And recently, in mid-December 2024, I was lucky enough to spend a minimum amount of $1,000 in my Linqto account, Linqto. It's a platform where you can buy private equity in early startups. You can invest early in companies you really believe in. And I learned at the time that I was able to spend a minimum of $1,000 the first time investing on Linqto. And I went for it. And I'm learning. I'm not an accredited investor. And I was not asked to I wasn't asked to fill out the forms to know your customer, which they are, I guess, implementing into their platform now. It's mandatory because as of now, and I will share a clip of something in a moment, as of now, you must be an accredited investor if you want to buy a company's private equity. And I'm learning. So I'm going to share with you a few things that I found online. I was going about my business today. I turned on Zach Rector and I stopped because I'm going to play a part of his video. Then I'm going to share a few snippets of John E. Deaton. I did some research on X, and I'm slowly getting used to following people on X more than YouTube because they offer a lot more freedom. However, with the few tidbits of information I'll be sharing, it will be screen recording of them speaking. It will explain a lot what's going on with Linqto, and I learned that there are a lot of people like me out there. So instead of continuing babbling, I'm going to share the snippets of information that I came across. I'm going to take the time to put together this video, and maybe it will help others who are in the same boat as me. And it's just, I will say that, you know what? Let me share the few tidbits, and I'll speak again in a moment.
Breakfast. I don't want to pay capital gains tax for a $30 purchase, so maybe there's some kind of tax relief policies to sort of facilitate. Those are the real things, changing this accredited investor rule so that regular fucking people can actually build wealth in this country and it not be, the top 10%. I mean, we got a rule that literally excludes 88% of the American population. You can serve in the military and you can give your life to your country, but you can't own pre-IPO shares of a company like the politicians can, like Nancy Pelosi and the rest of them, both Republican and Democrats. That's shameful. So I really hope that we focus on those things instead of just, some of the things that they might focus on. So, like I said, we're fighting for the legitimacy, and 4 years from now, we'll know whether crypto, fulfilled its potential or whether it was all just, something that excited us for a while.
Mr. Deaton, in my opinion, this man is obviously a very smart man, but his purpose in life right now is to take all his knowledge and his experience to help an average retail investor like me not be taken advantage of. And if you follow him, or if you're new to who he is, he sued the SEC and he won. I believe that's what happened. And it's because the SEC is supposed to protect, average people like me, the retail investor. And we were prevented from buying more XRP. The lawsuit against Ripple really hurt the Ripple company. And not just with retail investors investing, on so many other levels, because it got in the way of its growth, its potential growth. And that's usually what happens from my observation in life, like with Apple and Microsoft, now Amazon. The SEC sued them all, and so many other companies, because they have something of value and they don't want you to get ahead. So anyway, now listen to this clip. If you want to hear the whole conversation, I will soon, after I do my taxes, after the next couple of weeks, I plan on making a huge shift online, following the people I like to follow on X more than YouTube. We'll start off with that, but I need to get organized. You only can do so much. Doing what I'm doing right now to inform you, the people who are not aware of what's really going on, and you want to know what's going on, this is valuable information. This takes time. That I need to get over the hurdle of tax season, and then I'm moving forward, because once XRP comes into play, the use case of it, I can move forward with many other things like my blockchain domains that I own and how I can expand online. So now this man talks. There's many of them in this conversation. Go follow John E. Deaton on Twitter and look for that check mark. There are many non-accredited investors who invested a lot more than me, but I'm not saying their investments are more valuable, because they might be millionaires. I'm not. They might have $300,000 in the bank. I don't. They invested what they could lose. So did I. So, it's all relative. It's all even Steven. It's what you can afford to lose when you are investing in private equity in a company, an early startup. So check this out. This guy says exactly what I was researching for, because I don't want to lose that investment. Just listen.
I can hear you.
Okay, I have a question here. I'm also a non-accredited investor in Linqto, and I'd like to know if Linqto accepted my investment and confirmed my purchase, then did they not enter into a contract? And since I was issued with a confirmation certificate for those investments, is that not binding? And can I not ask them to issue me my shares rather than give me back the money that I invested?
Yeah, I can't give you a clear cut yes or no. I can tell you that I think that if there is those types, if your investment as a non-accredited investor could have been done. And so there are vehicles that allow, non-accredited investors to buy private equity in certain limited circumstances. Yours could have been one of those limited circumstances, or it could have been one of these issues that why the SEC is involved and there's regulatory compliance issues. All I can tell you is that it's hard for me to imagine that the SEC is going to want to punish a customer. So I wish I could tell you, yes, it's guaranteed that your shares or whatever it is when it goes public is going to be yours, and you'll reach the upside if there is any upside in your investment. It should be the case, but I can't guarantee it, because I'm not an expert in SEC. I'm not an expert in revision, what's called rescission. But generally speaking, these non-fraud regulatory compliance issues would be, okay, they fixed it and they are fined for the breaches, as a deterrent for them doing it in the future, but we're not going to punish the customers. You know what I mean? So I can tell you that I think you're going to get your money back at a minimum, and hopefully you'll see you'll get the shares and experience any upside.
Yeah, thanks for that, John. I'd like to say thanks for the work you do for the crypto community. And I was watching from Scotland and hoping that you'd beat Elizabeth Warren.
Thank you, brother.
So, so onward and upward, and thank you for fighting the fight.
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Cool. Thanks for being here today. I'm not sure if you already answered this. I hopped on a little bit late, but I am not an accredited investor. I ended up being able to invest through like a 1 in 35 non-accredited slot that was opened up. They barely do it. And the minimal amount was 10 grand. So I was just curious because now they want me to re-verify my accreditation status, and I'm not accredited. So how do I handle that?
You obviously got to be, truthful. I think that, and again, this is me speculating. So I want everyone to know that, like, I don't know any of this for sure because I'm not privy to it. I haven't been made available of the exact nature of the regulatory issues. But I think that is one of the potential regulatory issues. In other words, it's not fraud, it's not embezzlement, it's not, that kind of Sam Bankman-Fried nonsense and crimes. It's, the T's and the I's and credit investor or technical SEC stuff that the SEC cares a lot more than necessarily the
right
about.
So do you think they'd give the money back if they wouldn't allow you to keep the shares?
No, I don't. That's a question I can't answer. I understand it's a great question of like rescission and whatnot. Here's at a minimum, you'd be getting your investment back, money back. Being able to punish the customer doesn't sound like something that this new SEC would want. Sounds like something Gensler might do, but you would hope that this new SEC would not be in the business. You're supposed to protect investors, and so if anything, normally it involves a fine of the institution, not so much someone like you. Now, obviously, my advice was be honest. I'm told because of the regulatory AML KYC issues that everyone has to sort of qualify or certify who they are, including me. I was informed that the reason when I go on my mobile app and it pops up, sort of those kind of questions, including acknowledge that you could lose all your money, blah, 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 that it basically anyone who's a Linqto customer, they're going through the whole rigmarole of recertification, who's a credit investor, who's not a credit investor. But yes, there are rules that allow, non-accredited investors to be a small part of certain scenarios. And yours could have been done correctly, that you're a part of, or it could have been technically not done correctly. I'm hoping that in the next couple of weeks, someone like you will be able to get answers from Linqto itself. You know what I'm saying?
I'll reach out to him. I was just worried I was going to reach out to him and they were going to be like, look, man, we can't give you your 10 grand back and you're screwed. Now I just feel like that's a complete fucking scam, but
no, that's not going to happen. And
gotcha.
And if something like that were to happen, I would do whatever I can because I'm not going to let that happen to people like you and me. You know what I mean? I'm a credit investor today, but it only took me 55 fucking years.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I still have to find the interview with Linqto and John Deaton. I'm having a terrible time finding that, but then I came across this. So now I thought it would be a good opportunity. It just put my mind at ease. I would rather have the shares. I do have the certificate. I'm hoping that that's what happens. I just hope that's what happens. If anyone knows where to look up the Linqto interview. I want to hear Linqto and John Deaton. But then I came across this and I felt it was something worth sharing. So soon I'll be making pivots, watching people on X more often, like the Economic Ninja and like AMTV, Christopher Green, and many more. But I listen to these guys and I'm following lead, but I'm only one person. For the next couple of weeks, I need to chill, work on my taxes, and just by the way, you know I'm all big on apps. Most of the work's done because I was doing it on the fly using QuickBooks Self-Employed. I'm going to type in my info, click Save on the computer so I can upload it to TurboTax, and I'm going to tap Print to print out a copy to create my own folder. Done. All the work's already done on the app. It's all relative. It's just overwhelming. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let's cross our fingers that we are lucky enough. I mean, I feel I'm an average person. Whoa, what's that about? Oh, and a thumbs up. Wow, this thing has a mind of its own. I guess you want to build your confidence. Motivation. Well, that's the type of people I want to be around all the time. Moving forward, motivated, always something to do, always purpose, purpose, purpose. That's the way to be. That's the only way to be. Okay, I'll get going. That was a good ending. Until the next video clip, please, if anybody knows where I can find that Linqto and John Deaton interview, I would like, I don't know where else to look. I'll keep trying, but I really want to hear that interview. Until the next video clip, have a good one. Bye, everybody.